A Nigerian father of three was jailed yesterday in Liverpool Crown Court, and he will be deported at the end of his custodian prison sentence. This Nigerian was a university lecturer back home in Nigeria. Before he came to the United Kingdom, he sold all his personal belongings, and him and his wife, they borrowed money for him to come to the UK in search of a better life. He initially came to the UK on a student visa. Everything that this brother has worked for has now gone down the drain. He is now cooling off in prison, and he will be returning back to Nigeria at the end of his prison sentence. Good morning. The Launch Club is where you will hear the latest update about the lived experience of immigrants in the diaspora. We share stories on this platform not to scare anyone, but to inform and educate our audience. One of the best ways to learn in life is to learn from other people's success and failures. If you see any value in this morning's content, you can support our work by giving it a like. There are lessons that can be learned in the story of our brother, Emmanuel Wonsurike. That is his real name, by the way. Emmanuel arrived in the UK on a student visa. He was initially happy that, yes, I have finally achieved my dream. When I was working as a lecturer in Nigeria, I was earning less than 150,000, which is less than 70 pounds. Now that I'm in the UK, I will be able to earn more money, improve my life, and eventually bring my wife and my lovely three children from Nigeria to the UK to come and join me. Happy days. That is how our brother Emmanuel felt when he first arrived in the country. This is the face of our brother Emmanuel, the one we are talking about today. Emmanuel was initially like most immigrants. He struggled to get a job, and he eventually got a job after searching tirelessly. When Emmanuel was working, he was working in a residential care home. He was looking after patients with dementia. Emmanuel, one day, he was advised by some Nigerians and other Africans that he was working with about his conduct and the way he used to make inappropriate remarks when he sees young girls. One beautiful day on the 1st of January last year, 1st of New Year's Day, Emmanuel's agency decided to call him and say, Emmanuel, we got some shifts for you. Would you be interested in working in this place today? Emmanuel said, yeah. If I work on New Year's Day, I will get double pay. That would be enough money for me to meet my expenses and help my family. Meanwhile, when Emmanuel's visa expired, he then couldn't raise money to apply for post-studies. However, the agency that he registered with when he first arrived in the country, they continue to give our brother Emmanuel a job to do. Emmanuel then went to this shift. On this fateful day, a 70 years old beautiful girl walked in. That girl, she was working with Emmanuel. As soon as Emmanuel saw this beautiful girl, Emmanuel became lost. Emmanuel lost all his sense of responsibility. Emmanuel was razzmatazed and mesmerized by this young girl's beauty that Emmanuel started thinking with what is under his leg, not his head anymore. Emmanuel, it was reported, touched this young girl inappropriately, touched the young girl's boobs, touched her private part. He was touching this girl. This girl and Emmanuel, apparently they have done a few shifts together. They were familiar with each other. But on this fateful day, Emmanuel could not hold it together. Emmanuel, maybe he was missing his wife. Maybe he hadn't had maybe he hadn't had sex or something. I don't know. Emmanuel, it was reported, lost it completely. He touched this girl to the point where this young girl told Emmanuel that, stop it. Emmanuel told this girl, say, you know what? If you display this kind of, if I display this kind of behavior in Nigeria, the girls in Nigeria, they won't even mention anything. The girls in Nigeria, they will not even say anything about what I've done. They will not even report it. In fact, this is not a big deal in Nigeria. We touch women with their consent or without their consent as we like. And the girl said, wow, so in Nigeria, is that how you treat women? Emmanuel said, yes, we get away with it. Okay. After this shift, the girl, it was reported, became traumatized by Emmanuel unauthorized touching. The girl went home. She told her grandmom. She initially did not know how to handle the situation because that was the first time that this young girl, as it was reported, was encountering situation like that. She went to speak to her grandmom. Her grandmom said, no, this must not go unchallenged. We are going to report Emmanuel. At that time, Emmanuel was 36 years old. The girl told the grandmom, and the grandmom said, you know what, tell your father immediately. As soon as they told the girl's father, the father said, no, 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 not my beloved, precious, beautiful girl. This man cannot be allowed to get away with it. I'm going to take the laws into my hand. Don't worry, darling. I'm not going to call the police straight away. The girl's father went to Emmanuel's place and the man punched Emmanuel, beat the hell out of Emmanuel. To the point where Emmanuel, it was reported, became unconscious after the man attacked him. The Emmanuel had to have surgery in his brain because the man caused a lot of damages. Police arrested the man and said, you know what? You live in England, not in a barbaric country where people take the laws into their hand. They then charged the girl's father, and the man was found guilty for taking the laws into the hand. Meanwhile, Emmanuel thought your deal is over. Now that he has been admitted in hospital, he thought the police were not going to come over for him. As soon as Emmanuel became well enough, the Crime Prosecution Services decided to take this case to court. And they took the case to court and said, you know what? What you did is unacceptable. The only way you can learn and others will be deterred is for you to go and spend time in prison so that you can reflect and think about your actions. Emmanuel's lawyer put a powerful argument before the court and say, you know what? This man borrowed money from people before he came to the UK. And these people, they are chasing his wife, threatening his wife and children that if Emmanuel doesn't pay back the money, they are going to harm him. Please don't send this man to jail. Let him just, because he was now working in warehouse, please give him a suspended sentence so that at least for 2 years, if he doesn't commit anything, can stay in the country. If he doesn't commit anything, then it shows that he has learned. The judge said, no, 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 no. Due to the seriousness of the offense, the only way our brother Emmanuel can learn a lesson is for him to go to what we call the School of Life, the University of Life prison, so that he can learn. Now, on the 13th, Emmanuel has now been sentenced to prison as we speak. Some people have said that Emmanuel's arrogance in saying that in Nigeria, no women in Nigeria will not report this. I can easily get away with this in Nigeria. It demonstrates one thing, that Nigerian society is a patriarchal society, a society where men, especially powerful men, can take the laws into their hand, do whatever they like with women, and they get away with it. That Emmanuel has probably been doing this back home when he was a lecturer. That he is probably one of those lecturers that will tell those guys, you know what? If you want to pass my course, you have to let me clean your pipe. If you do not allow me to clean your pipe, you are going to fail my course. And the guys will say, what do you mean by clean your pipe? Emmanuel say, well, If you don't understand the language, go and ask your friend, because I've already cleaned her pipe and now she got distinction in her studies. And that was that culture that Emmanuel came to the UK with, that mindset, thinking that because he has been getting away with it for Nigeria, that is why he decided to do what he did. Some people have said this is spiritual attack, that the evil father of Emmanuel's father's house, they are after Emmanuel. They came all the way from his village in Imo State or wherever Emmanuel came from, that they chased him to the UK and they did then attack him. Do you agree with that? Let me know what your views are. Do you think if Emmanuel did what he did now in Nigeria, he will be held accountable? Do you think that prison sentence is enough? One of the things I want to say to any man who is planning to move abroad, I have lived here for many, many years. As a black man, you have to be extremely careful, because even according to the government own data, you're more likely to be presumed guilty until proven guilty as a black man in court. Therefore, if you give the enemy grenades to blame you, to blow you, do not blame yourself. If you're working in a predominantly women environment, which a lot of our people that come now that work in care do, you have to be extremely careful. You have to be extremely careful, because if you're not careful, you're going to land yourself in serious trouble. On this platform, we do not condone any form of violence against women. As a father of 3 beautiful girls myself, I think that yes, justice has been done. Emmanuel deserves what he got. Emmanuel is still maintaining his innocence, mind you. Do you think that the father's action in attacking Emmanuel is right? The father's action is taking the law into his hand and punch Emmanuel to the point where Emmanuel had to have brain surgery. Let me know what your views are. If you know anyone who is moving abroad, tell them to subscribe to the Lunch Club, because if Emmanuel has been watching our videos, I am sure Emmanuel will not have made the same mistake. 48 hours after another Nigerian was found guilty because he said he kissed a patient, another Nigerian person is now going to jail for the same thing. Hopefully, something can be learned. It's a reflection on our society, on how we treat our women. Share this video with anyone that you know will benefit. We all have a role to play to stop the abuse and exploitation of women. You have sisters, I have sisters, you have daughters, you have nieces. All of us must come together to stop this, because this is not allowed. Don't forget to give this video a like if you see any value. Leave your comment in the comment section.